You know him from the best talk show on the air. Stop the madness, keep it 100. Now, catch him Monday through Friday, 5 to 6 p.m. on the all-new STMK Radio 100. It's the Sax Man Show. Come join the law enforcement extraordinaire, the Sax Man.
This is Christina in Savannah. I listen to STMK Radio 100 on my way home from work. Every Thursday, they keep it 100.
You're listening to STMK Radio 100.
STMK Radio 100, the podcasting station that brings you the Stop the Madness, Keep It 100 radio talk show that keeps it real, no sugar. STMK Radio 100 also presents At the Table with Reverend Bill Miller Show. Check out Brother Bill's Bible Study radio broadcast here on STMK Radio 100 at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central. STMK Radio 100 does Ustream Live TV, FaceTime, phone interviews, chat rooms, the new emerging artist show, sports talk, dance music shows, book reading shows, and much more coming very soon right here on STMK Radio 100. Contact us. Visit our website at stmkradio100.com or email us directly at stmkradio100@aol.com. Give us a call at 1-866-484-7865. That's 1-866-484-STMK. Call us now. STMK Radio 100.
Women like me aren't supposed to run for office. I wasn't born to a wealthy or powerful family. Mother from Puerto Rico, dad from the South Bronx. I was born in a place where your zip code determines your destiny. My name is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I'm an educator, an organizer, a working-class New Yorker. I've worked with expectant mothers, I've waited tables and led classrooms. And going into politics wasn't in the plan. But after 20 years of the same representation, we have to ask, who has New York been changing for? Every day gets harder for working families like mine to get by. The rent gets higher, healthcare covers less, and our income stays the same. It's clear that these changes haven't been for us, and we deserve a champion. It's time to fight for a New York that working families can afford. That's why I'm running for Congress. This race is about people versus money. We've got people, they've got money. It's time we acknowledge that not all Democrats are the same. That a Democrat who takes corporate money, profits off foreclosure, doesn't live here, doesn't send his kids to our schools, doesn't drink our water or breathe our air, cannot possibly represent us. What the Bronx and Queens needs is Medicare for all, tuition-free public college, a federal jobs guarantee, and criminal justice reform. We can do it now. It doesn't take 100 years to do this. It takes political courage. A New York for the many is possible. It's time for one of us. Vote for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Remember how the economic crash was supposed to be a wake-up call for our government? People all across the country lost their savings, their pensions, and their jobs. I'm Tom Steyer. And it turned out that the system that had benefited people like me who were well off was in fact stacked against everyone else. It's why I left my investment firm and resolved to use my savings for the public good. But here we are 9 years later, and this president and the Republican Congress are making a bad situation even worse. They won't tell you that their so-called tax reform plan is really for the wealthy and big corporations while hurting the middle class. It blows up the deficit. And that means fewer investments in education, healthcare, and job creation. It's up to all of us to stand up to this president, not just for impeachable offenses, but also to demand a country where everyone has a real chance to succeed. Join us. Your voice matters.
STMK Radio 100. You're listening to Stop the Madness, Keep It 100 with your hosts, Shawn L, Let, and Tone the Stone on STMK Radio 100.
Yes, this is a PSA, a public street announcement. You are now listening to a Kickback production. Light up your L's, lean back, and listen.
For the last 4 months, we have done 4 shows on the city of East Cleveland and their problems with their city government on continuous professional training, mismanagement of funds. We've been called by activists and concerned citizens. Today, we went to the city of East Cleveland City Hall, where public officials refused to give us a statement on the record. Then we showed up at the East Cleveland Town Hall at the Salvation Army. We attempted to talk to the police chief and the chief of staff and the mayor himself. The mayor wouldn't give us a statement off the record or on the record. He did talk with us personally, and we appreciate him for that. Then we went out and interviewed the citizens. And now, on Stop the Madness, Keep It 100, we're going to bring you the statements of the response from the East Cleveland Police Department on the complaints against them from activists Anderson and Crenshaw. Stay tuned.
Have a problem. It's not that we don't know that we have a problem. We've known it for years. It's not that we don't know what the solutions are. We've known those for years. The problem is we haven't done anything about it.
Today was a criminal complaint against police officers in East Cleveland.
And prior to that is that I had sent a public records request over for the police officers who were involved in the high-speed chase. Turn that over to the FBI. Is working in East Cleveland and also without OPATA certifications. And East Cleveland has demonstrated, number one, that no one in the leadership of the city government, the mayor, the council, the prosecuting attorney, the judge, the chief of police are responsible enough to manage a law enforcement agency.
It's not that we don't know that we have a problem. We've known it for years. It's not that we don't know what the solutions are. We've known those for years. The problem is we haven't done anything about it.
Residents have already gathered the necessary signatures on a petition to disband the East Cleveland Police.
Hey, right here, this is Shawn L live at East City of East Cleveland at the Salvation Army. We got some residents right here that want to speak their mind. We heard from the activists. The city officials refused to give us statements, so we're going to go straight to the street and get the people in the street. Right here today with me, brother, tell me your name.
My name is Kane from the Zulus Motorcycle Club.
Kane, tell me how you feel about your police department.
Well, the murder rate in East Cleveland is real high, and it's probably due because there's not enough police.
So also, you feel that you're getting the proper protection if the mayor and the city spending their money properly?
Probably not if we got, 3-4 cars on a shift.
Okay, so let me ask you this question right here. If on the ballot it comes up to disband the East Cleveland Police Department, will you vote for it or would you not vote for it? Are you for it or are you against it?
Who would it bring in?
At this point, nobody knows, not even the state knows. So that's the quagmire that you're in right now.
So that's like a question with no answers.
Catch-22 situation. My brother right here, what's your name?
My name Bam.
Bam, tell us how you feel about your police department and the way they're policing the citizens in the community.
One thing about it, man, how can we have people police us in a community that they never lived in?
Okay, that's a good question. I'm glad you brought that up because if they have no investments in the community, then that means that they have no interest in your interest or the interest of the people to stay in the community. So what would you tell the mayor right now before you go in there to the meeting? What you want him to know?
Honestly, get people that look like us that have been through some of the things that we've been through in life. Because if you ain't been through the things we've been through, how can you understand how to understand my situation?
So let me ask you this question. There's an issue of police training violating constitutional rights of citizens in the city of East Cleveland for not having the training. 3 of the officers on that list arrested serial killer Michael Madison, and there's a chance that he may be back on the street if that's ruled an unconstitutional arrest. How you feel about that?
Honestly, with Michael Madison, man, that's something in its own entity. I really can't put words to that. You know what I mean? I grew up with the young man, and
how you feel about him coming back to your streets due to the fact of the incompetence of the East Cleveland Police Department?
It's bad. They got to take accountability for it. You know, like you say, the training come first. Without the training, how can they do anything without the training?
Let me ask you the same question that I'm going to be asking everybody else here going in there. If your department goes up on the ballot to be disbanded, will you vote for it?
No, I'm not going to vote for them to disband East Cleveland, man, because we got some police. Without no police, it'd be even worse.
Okay, let's get to that. Right here, my brother, what's your name? Oh, just these two right here, your 2 spokesmen. Hey, we want to thank you fellas for being with us right there. But I got one more question that's coming back on the thing. Do you support your activists for coming out in the community to make it better for you?
Yes, I do.
And if you had something to say to any of the activists, what would you say to the activists at the time?
Keep up the good work, Art McCoy. We love you, brother.
All right.
And we also do a lot of charitable work around the city that ain't been getting noticed at all.
Well, you know what? We're going to give you one of our cards so y'all can give us a call and we can get with that and give y'all some coverage on that. Okay, thank you very much. Mrs. Crenshaw standing outside of the Salvation Army right now before she goes in there to sit with the mayor. She's an activist in the city of East Cleveland talking about the problems right here. She brought up the incident of training, and also other activists brought up the disband the police department. Ms. Crenshaw, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Can you give us a status on what's going on?
The status has not changed. We did go through more records this weekend that were sent to us from a potter that the city sent to them for the audit. And what we found was that a lot of the certificates that the city gave were duplicate certificates. So they sent a snow blizzard of paper with duplicate certificates to make it look like they had all this training. So we were very meticulous going through the certificates. We saw a lot of certificates that were CPT training were outdated, 2006, 2007. We didn't find, even if we took all of the certificates into consideration, we did not find 44 hours for 2017 in training.
Okay, so that means that officers, even though East Cleveland didn't submit the proper paperwork, you're still finding they didn't have training?
Yes, that's what we're still finding. And until they give us something different, which they are refusing to give us records, what we found through the OPATA records and through other municipalities in which a lot of these officers served in dual capacity, so they might work part-time in East Cleveland, part-time in Bradno or part-time in Lindale or whatever, we had to rely on the other municipalities' records to determine if they had their gun requalifications, their annual certification, and their CPT training.
Okay, thank you very much, and we will be getting back with you so you can give more information out for us.
Thank you.
Okay. Right here now, we're still outside the Salvation Army here at the East Cleveland City Hall Council. They're having a meeting discussing the disbandment of their police department. What is your name, sir?
My Zulu name is OG Goliath.
OG, can I ask you one question? How do you feel about your police department?
Well, I think they're Johnny on the spot. I think that if we call them, they're there, and it doesn't take them long to get there. Wherever the problem is, they are there.
Okay.
Got to give them that.
So let me ask you this question. They have the question now of training and officers not being properly qualified to train and have lost their license through the state of Ohio. How do you feel about officers out here that's not properly qualified to be policing in your community?
Well, if they're not properly qualified, they shouldn't be. But if they're qualified, then let them be.
So let me ask you this second question before you get into the meeting. If it gets on the ballot that they're going to disband the East Cleveland Police Department, are you going to support it or are you going to vote against it?
Ask me that question again.
When this get on the ballot to disband the East Cleveland Police Department, are you going to support it or are you going to vote against it?
I'm going to vote against that.
Okay, thank you very much for being with us. We appreciate it. All right.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
So right here with us right now, we have another activist, Justin Anderson, at the meeting. Justin, give us an update of what's going on.
Well, what's going on? We have a mayor's town hall today, but me and my organization that I'm affiliated with also came here to distribute the proper information in regards to our negligent police department, which is the East Cleveland Police Department. And we came to distribute information about the grass cutting in East Cleveland. We spent over $250,000 to date within the last 2 years, even though we only cut grass 3 or 4 months out of each year. And we're going to be giving out packets of information of what we have found in our throughout public records. With me is Councilman Nate Martin. He's also been involved in.
Oh yeah, I'm glad we got a city official finally here before they threw the press off the lane. But I want to ask you a question about the petition, Jason, that we've been asking residents. Okay. Is that petition going to be submitted to the BOE, the Board of Elections?
Yes, the petition should be submitted to the Board of Elections sometime within the next few weeks. It's probably going to be going to a special election, but I believe the residents will speak at the voting box and that they will vote to disband the East Cleveland Police Department.
Now let me ask you this question. When you went to the city of East Cleveland, is it we got information and we're going to ask you because you was the one that submitted the petition that the East Cleveland clerk of course refused to take your petition from you?
Yes, absolutely. Clerk Khadija Guy, she refused to take the petitions from me, and we had to fight with her to get her to take the petitions, and then we end up saying, you know what, we're going to hold off and think about things, and then we'll submit them later. But we were refused by the clerk of courts when we tried to turn in our petitions.
Now we got Councilman Nathaniel Martin here, been a long-time councilman for the city of East Cleveland, a critic of the administration, one that's been fighting for a change. Councilman Martin, can we get you to say a couple of words for us?
We need unity and transparency, period, and that's lacking. And we need to be frugal in our spending. We can't be spending over $50,000 to $100,000 on cutting grass. We need to find employment for our youth. We need more citizen involvement and engagement.
Now, Councilman Martin, let me ask you this question right here, because you're the only city official that is brave enough to come on the air to talk to the press, as they just threw us off of the property right there. The mayor had him throw us off the property because he didn't want us talking to his residents. Okay. But the question is this. 3 of the individuals that arrested a serial killer named Michael Madison is claimed not to be properly trained police officers, and now that arrest may come into question if they're not properly certified. What's your feelings about that?
They have to be in compliance. They have to get to training. That's a state issue. The administrative code stipulates that. That's the question that's up. So the truth will come out. The bottom line when it comes to the police stops with the mayor. He's over them. He's over the police chief.
Right. He's the chief. He's the chief executive officer.
So he has to make sure that the officers are in compliance, and make sure that the officers get the proper training, because things change all the time.
So let me ask you this question. Will council write legislation or ordinance to force the mayor and the law director to comply with state requirements when it comes to police officers, so you won't have this problem?
It's hard to say, because you got 5 individuals with their own minds. But what needs to take place, we can legislate if we can get enough votes to put it on the ballot and have those individuals elected instead of appointed.
Now, what do you have to say to the citizens? Because, I went to the East Cleveland's Facebook page, and this is something that came up that is really unheard of. And the officers on that page, I do believe, is in violation of the East Cleveland social media policy. But as a sitting city official, is it good for law enforcement officers to be attacking the citizens that they serve on Facebook?
Absolutely. If that's the case, absolutely not. No, they're supposed to protect and serve, not harass and agitate, if you know what I mean. So no, that's not their role. Okay.
So let me ask you one more question. I'm going to let you go into the meeting, because I know the mayor, and we appreciate you standing with us and talking with us live on the air. Stop the Madness, keep it 100. What do you have to say about these problems of mismanagement of money, the police department not properly protecting and their citizens? What would you say as a sitting councilman to the citizens who don't know about what all this is going on and don't want to get involved in the politics of everything, but they want to be protected, respected, and taken care of? What is the message that the city of East Cleveland and you have for them?
They have to step up, do their homework, do their research, and get the truth. They have a responsibility. All the officials are elected officials. The bottom line is we're accountable to the people. But if the people don't hold us accountable, that's another issue. They have to step up. They have to do their homework. They hear one side, they need to hear the other side, and they then come up with the truth. They have to be involved, and they have to vote.
Thank you, Councilman Martin. We appreciate you coming over there with us, and we appreciate you giving us the interview. What's your name, ma'am?
Juanita Gowdy.
Juanita, can you tell us what's going on and why you're here?
I'm here for a town hall meeting, but it's some other stuff that they are doing, and that they don't want people to know. We out here passing out flyers today to let everybody know how the police is out of compliance, and also how they trying to cover up and act like they did their assessments and all that, and they upgraded and all that. And also it's other things that's going on, and I'm just here to make sure that people really need to see right through the glass of what we going through in our city.
Now, let me ask you this question. You one of the persons to put a petition to disband East Cleveland Police Department?
Yes, I am.
Are you going to submit that petition to the Board of Elections to have that put on the ballot?
Yes, and the Board of Elections got a lot of issues going on too, because they doing stuff too that they ain't supposed to be doing. And I hope that when we do actually do this, they count it and they be faithful of what they're going to tell the people,
Okay, thank you very much, and hope we see you after the meeting.
As you heard the activists give you how they feel about it, you heard some of the citizens. We're now going to go into this town hall meeting and hear the response from Mayor Brandon King and East Cleveland Police Chief. And you do not want to miss this. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Stop the madness. Keep it 100. The best talk show on the web is here on STMK Radio 100 with your hosts, Shawn L, Let, and Tone the Stone. Come join us from 6 to 8 p.m. Mondays through Fridays. Stop the madness. Keep it 100 with live call-ins, heated discussions about current events, politics, national news, weather, and sports. Join our live online chat room and let your opinion show. Download our phone app. Stop the madness. Keep it 100 on STMK Radio 100. Come join us from 6 to 8 p.m. Mondays through Fridays. The best talk show on the web is here on STMK Radio 100. Call us at 1-866-484-7865. That's 1-866-484-STMK. Stop the madness. Keep it 100.
You've been tuned in to Stop the Madness, keeping it 100 on STMK Radio 100. And now back to your host one more time, Shawn L, Let, and Tone the Stone.
Thank you all for coming out this evening. I'd like to give you a warm welcome to our August Town Hall meeting. And as always, I'd like to thank our gracious hosts, Majors Glasgow, and the entire crew over at the Salvation Army, including Mr. Greg Bell, the director, who always has been accommodating to our requests here. I'd like to recognize any elected official in the office. I know I saw Councilman Martin, and the other elected officials. Dr. Pat Mahoviak from the school board. Our Honorable Judge Dawson is here, who will be speaking later. Last time we were together, outside of a NOAA meeting that is, was the state of the city back in March. Got a lot of feedback and a lot of warm remarks from that meeting as I took many of you down memory lane to what East Cleveland used to look like. I did get some constructive feedback. Belinda Cowell, can you come to the front, please? Judge Dawson, and the council president is scheduled to speak, permitting she gets in due time. As such, with all the information we have to cover tonight, I would like to set some ground rules so that we can get through this schedule. As most of you in here know, because many of you in here participate in that, we created neighborhood groups to help identify, catalog, prioritize our neighborhood quality of life issues. I can remember walking with many of you in the rain, in the snow, down streets, cataloging issues, writing down addresses. I could tell countless stories about the things that happened. I will tell a couple quick ones. I remember sitting outside of the Helen S. Brown in the dark because someone had got the times mixed up, waiting for someone to let us in to Helen S. Brown. I remember meetings at the New Covenant, at the Solar Building, the Salvation Army, at the McGregor. I remember attending 2 meetings at one time at the MLK. Good stuff. The map that you're looking at identifies the various neighborhood groups and where they are situated in the city. More on that later. I'd like to now put up a number on the screen. I hope everyone can see that number. That number behind me, 1,037,945. I'd like to give you a round of applause for that. Thank you for clapping in advance of me telling you what that number represents. So over the course of about a year and a half, that is what we've spent. That is what you've spent addressing your quality of life issues in your neighborhoods. And I say that for the naysayers. We spent $150,000 on fixing and installing streetlights. We spent $50,000 on anti-dumping cameras. This from a grant we received from the Cuyahoga County Land Bank. We spent $136,000 on grass cutting. Cash, not a lot of money, but a little money to help say thank you for grass that they had already been cutting simply because they wanted their streets kept. We spent $89,000 on cold patch, hot patch, and the infamous pothole killer, filling potholes all around the city. The $20,000 that we're outlaying as we speak on Euclid, we are restriping Euclid. Those of you who know me know I'm really excited about the next step. $80,000 on heavy equipment. I get a kick out of the service department. I like service. We bought a leaf vac. We bought a wheel loader. We bought a multi-purpose compact wheel loader to do, among other things, street sweep and help pick up some of the dumping across the city. Why? Because the neighborhood groups requested a return to leaf pickup, to having their street swept. And again, for the naysayers and all the non-believers, these purchases were made through strategic financing and grants. Councilman Tim Austin just walked in, and I'd like to thank him, Councilman Martin, and the rest of the council for helping us make these about $500,000 purchases in equipment to provide quality of life services to. We have also confiscated over 6 vehicles, one of which is being used by our service department to do, among other things, pick up dumping, right? I'd like to say thank you. Thank you, East Clevelanders, for your vigilance and for your newfound attitude or return to the village mentality which is allowing us to take back our city, our streets. Thank you. The last couple of years, many of you have watched the news reports in which law enforcement nationally was under attack. Well, those attacks on law enforcement have reached the city of East Cleveland. And as such, I would like to introduce to you and bring up our Chief of Police, Chief Cardilli, who will talk about some of the attacks made against him personally and our men in blue.
Mr. Mayor, thank you for giving me time to speak today. Judge Dawson, thank you. Council people. The mayor always gets to do all the good things. It seems like the police chief always has to do all the bad things. We'll talk about all the bad things. So when something goes wrong, it's always the police chief that has to come up here. You know, house blew up on 125th, the police chief has got to get out there, you know, because that's just the way it goes. He only gets to do the good things and not all of them. I'm going to steal a little bit of his thunder real quick. It's Officer Gallagher and Officer King. Officer King. Everyone knows Officer McDonald. I'm sure most of you know Officer King. And then I'm going to talk about this compliance issue. And there's going to be some negative things said by me. So I'm going to press it. You know, if that's the home, damn it, ready, I'm not doing it, I'm going to do it anyways. So Officer McDonald and Officer King, there was a young lady shot high, graduated out of their own time, out of their own pocket. They drove this girl to college, out of state. Not all of them. About 4 states away. Out of their own pocket, didn't spend any money, and constantly to this day, marry her on a daily basis. And this marriage started off with Belinda Kyle when she was part of the Police Athletic League and the memory program. Vanessa Beals picked it up from there. I got to meet the young lady on March 10th of 2014, and she made an impression on all of us. And I went down. I apologize, I'm running my glasses for some reason. Thanks to the mayor and my great health care plan, I was able to get a new pair of glasses. It's been said that the the East Cleveland Police Department is not in compliance with the state of Ohio. I'm here to tell you that those accusations are 100% false. And so we have to start to think about these people who would make accusations like that, why they would do that. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. So in 2015, the state of Ohio required that each police officer take 4 hours of continuing education. 4 hours. 2016 was 11 hours mandated. In 2017, it was 20 hours mandated. Now, there's two different paths that the officers can go by. So the path A is they take their classes and they just take a random bunch of classes and they stay in compliance as long as they're certified classes by the Attorney General when one runs. Okay? So there's a variety of different ways. We can send them to classes down in London where they stay at the Police Academy training facility there. There's also one in Richfield they could go to. Or there's an online option. And we've elected to do the online option. We had instructors coming in here for a while, but it was becoming so much financially, such a financial hardship on us that we decided, just like most police departments have now, we went almost to completely the online stuff. And what that requires is for each officer, they have an individual ID. So, like mine is M. Cardilli, and then the last 5 of my social security number. And you have to go to the Attorney General's website, their gateway, and you have to punch in my unique number, and then I have a specific password that's just for me. And so I go in there and I punch that in, and then I can go to these classes, and I can get these classes, just like all these officers over here do. So that's one way of doing it. The second way is in 2015, 16, and 17, the Attorney General said there are certain classes that we feel that are more important than other classes. And some of the topics are use of force, community relations, community policing, domestic violence, a couple more companion animals. There was a whole list of them. And they mandate, and they say, if you guys take these courses over here and you successfully complete them, there's an examination at the end of each one of these courses that you have to take. You have to make it 70% or higher, and then you can get this little certificate that says, hey, the chief completed this. If you take it that way and you do that, the state said that in 2015 that they would reimburse us for the 4 hours of officer training. So that was great. So we got a little bit of reimbursement in 2015. 2016 we got a little bigger reimbursement. In 2017 we got a much larger reimbursement. Well, what that requires is for us to keep accurate records. So our record keeping was absolutely spot on, obviously, because I just received a letter, email from the Attorney General's office, from the Executive Director, that says that we have one officer whose certification has been flagged. And it's not saying that this officer isn't in compliance. It was saying that this officer, we don't have the records, the training records. Well, we did. And so that makes the whole entire East Cleveland Police Department is in 100% compliance. I can say that to you now. This becomes really important, and why I feel like I have to come up here and defend is because about a day before the children went back to school, I received a phone call from the superintendent of schools, and she's like, Chief, we have a problem. One of the school board members had brought up an issue saying that the East Cleveland Police is not in compliance. Therefore, right now, we want to make sure that we're safe. Can you tell me that they're in compliance? And I said, absolutely I can. Can you tell us that they're in compliance with all the regulations to include annual firearms qualification? Yes, ma'am, I can. So she went back after probably about a 3-hour conference call, I think I got off the conference call at like 11 o'clock at night. I was on a conference call with the superintendent and also the school board president. And we were able to come to an agreement that they were going to accept my word for the first portion of it. And then I would send them what documentation that I'm mandated by law to keep. And there was also an email sent to the state. Well, I have a copy of that email now that's saying that all these officers are in compliance. I already knew that. I knew that in January when I filled out the continuing education. I already knew that. But some group of individuals didn't want to believe that or wanted to go off with only half information. So now I had to ask myself, why would they want to do that? So why would somebody want to hold a media or press release? Why would they want to be walking around with petitions, going door to door to disband the police department? And I had to start thinking about it. And it took me a few minutes, probably about 2. I used to be a detective. And I came up with one thing. There's an individual who's in this room right now that doesn't want there to be these police department. Okay? Hold on. It gets better. So back in 2011, on May 5th, or May 9th to be exact, there was a lovely lady that had her house broken into. She lost her husband about a year before that. And they burglarized her house. They stole her jewelry to include an anniversary ring, an engagement ring, and a wedding ring. This individual stole this stuff 1 year after her husband died. And y'all probably don't believe me that she's actually here today. The man that was convicted of this crime is one of the same ones that's going around here trying to get a petition signed to get rid of the East Cleveland Police Department. Who is it? Well, I think that anybody who went to city council meeting on Tuesday night knows who is it. It's Justin Anderson sitting right there. It took me a while to figure this out. Like I said, about 2 minutes because I used to be a detective. I'm one big deal. You know, they like to come out with all these paperwork. I can put them up here. You could go to the Cuyahoga County website, to the prosecutor's website, and you can look up these cases for yourself. J-U-S-T-Y-N Anderson. Look it up yourself if you don't believe me. It's right here. Pled guilty to burglarizing that woman's house. Pled guilty. And then has the audacity to attack these officers. And myself. Just puzzles me. And then even when he was in jail, he still couldn't keep his behavior good. And he got denied parole. That's up there too. You can go look at that. It says right here, and I'll read it to you, just real short. Defendant denied for participation due to negative institutional summary report. It's right there. This is the public record. So, this same person that is not on your door asking you to sign a petition to get rid of the East Cleveland Police Department may have his friends in the back door because that's his whole side. Now, I'm sorry, I'm going to take 2 more minutes. I'm going to have to do this all over again because there's another young lady in here that one that wants to hold the media releases and all the press conferences and talk about how to comply. But this one you got to follow me a little bit closer. It's not quite as easy. I initially didn't know too much about the case. I actually was there.
Excuse me.
And it was
Excuse me.
the 30th day of October in 2017 when my detectives responded to 1753 Rosedale in East Cleveland. There was a Shaw High School senior by the name of Stephen Swain Jr. that was shot 7 times. 7 times. Now the detectives went there, they collected all their information like they do all the time. Alright? We developed leads. We followed up on those leads. And then what happens? One of our SROs happens to see our suspect driving a car with a female in the car. Describes the car, describes where they're at. So 2 of our detective cars that are in the area see this same vehicle with who they know to be the suspect in the car. They pull him over, they extract him from the vehicle, he's subsequently arrested, and is currently under indictment by the Cuyahoga County for aggravated murder. Now, how does that relate back to this? The very first press release, media release, was done right in front of East Cleveland City Hall, which I could kind of see that. And that's when everybody was up there saying, I'm going to drop a bombshell, East Cleveland Police are not in compliance. So I couldn't really figure out why you would want to do it in front of East Cleveland City Hall. You know, first off, there's a lot of potholes out there, you know, except for where the mayor's fixed them. Okay. But then I realized the murderer for Stephen Swain was arrested feet away from where this press media release took place. And then they built it all up and said, we're going to do the whole release next Friday. So, being a detective at one time, I was smart enough to figure out, okay, they're going to come at me for something. And I know that it's going to be me because I'm the figurehead, I'm going to be the guy who's going to take all the blame. And I was ready for it. And that's exactly what I was prepared to do. And thank God they took their hand a little bit because I probably wouldn't have pulled my transcript out. But they took their hand a little bit and gave us a little preview of what they were going to say about the police department about being out of compliance. So within 5 minutes of the start of the press of this media release, which by the way took place at the Juvenile Justice Center downtown. We're going to get to that point in a minute. Within 5 minutes, the press conference wasn't even over, and I had already told the commander, I said, put my transcript up on our East Cleveland Facebook page. And that's exactly what we did within 5 minutes. And I was going to leave it right there. The very first person to talk about Chief Michael Cardilli out of compliance since, you know, he's only taken whatever, blah, blah, blah. Just total character assassination on me. I've been here for 21 years. 21 years I've served this community. The same day, we started hoping over there. Myself started hoping. Same day. 6 months later, Commander Gardner comes along. Mark was here. They assassinated. They just absolutely. It was embarrassing because people were, you know, once you start hearing stuff, people were like, hey, is this true? Yeah, is this true? I keep hearing about it, right? You know, all 200 of their Facebook followers. So, I'm like, no, it's not true.
We're talking about Facebook, bro.
So, I'm thinking to myself, so why was the second press conference? Like, if I were going to do a press conference about the East Cleveland Police Department not being in compliance with the state of Ohio, I'd go to the governor's office, probably. Or I'd go to the Attorney General's office, Mike DeWine, I'd go down in front of his office. Or I may even go to the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's office right downtown and right in front of O'Malley's office. I don't know, that's where I hold my press conference. But no, this one was in front of the Juvenile Justice Center. And then it took me just, like I said, just a minute because I was a detective at one time to figure out why was it that venue. Because these young men was arrested has been indicted by the Cuyahoga County Grand Jury for aggravated murder, was incarcerated in the juvenile justice. Right there. So their attempt at assassinating and defaming every one of these police officers to go out there and put their life on the line every day, it's kind of hit me in a soft spot, and I'm trying not to get really angry, you know. The whole time this was all going on, this didn't cost. What they wanted to happen was they wanted to take away from the police. And you know what way they made it happen? I had to work Friday. Vanessa knows I don't like to work on Fridays. I take every Friday off that I can, and I go cut grass. That's what I want.
Now, as a journalist and talk show host, there's a lot of things I want to say right here. You heard the residents. They have very strict concerns. At the town hall, this was a mayor-friendly crowd, and I'm going to say this. The mayor knew that he had his people in that audience. He should have invited the press and everybody inside there and gave him an open hand, but he didn't do that. I have a problem with people having public meetings under the Sunshine Law, but refusing to let the press in or allowing the press to talk to the people that's going in. If you have nothing to hide, then you must embrace a free press. We cannot have mayors, presidents, police chiefs, or anybody else blocking the press from doing their job and reporting. Now, I'm going to say this. The PIO for the City of East Cleveland Police Department extended his hand, and we thank him for everything he done. But there again, there are some unanswered questions, and it's time for everybody in the community to sit down, stop making it personal, and make it the business of the City of East Cleveland. And you got to answer these questions. Are your police officers certified? Were your police officers certified when they was out on the street? Those are the only two questions that need to be answered. This is not rocket science. And the state of Ohio is going to have to come in and answer those questions for the City of East Cleveland, because everybody is playing cloak and dagger. We should not have to be pulling teeth from public officials to answer those two simple questions. I don't know if East Cleveland is not certified, nor do I know if they are certified. But they do owe the citizens of East Cleveland the respect to inform them that they are being properly policed and taken care of. And with that, I want to say good night and thank you for joining us on the East Cleveland Town Hall.
You've been listening to Stop the Madness, Keep It 100 on STMK Radio 100.